I'm Alison Tierney. I am a board certified oncology dietitian, and I'm also a cancer thriver myself. I recently just kind of finished my cancer treatment journey. The biggest thing, and if you can see my video, I have really long hair, right? And can't really tell with it up like this, but I did have the opportunity to cold cap, and I had very great success for it. So I am thankful for that. So cold capping is really what it does is it allows an individual to potentially increase the ability to save their hair from chemotherapy. Now, cold capping, there are some things it's not available or it's not recommended for individuals that don't have solid tumors. So I was a candidate as a solid tumor, as a breast cancer patient. And also the type of treatment protocol is going to play a role because different treatments, different chemotherapies some are going to have greater success than others. So as someone who had Taxol, there is greater success typically with Taxol, where I was told that 50% of patients that underwent my treatment would save 50% or more of their hair. And without cold capping would lose all of their hair, right? So my cancer center offered the Paxman. There's a couple different types of cold capping systems. Commonly, I think there's one called Penguin, Arctic, and then Paxman, and I'm sure there's several others. The Paxman is what was offered to me and that I did use. And essentially what it is it's this giant ice pack, essentially. It's a cap that goes on your head, and it's designed to bring the temperature of your hair follicles down to a certain temperature that actually constricts the blood vessels, not allowing the chemotherapy to be delivered to those, the very end of those hair follicles, allowing the hair cells and hair follicles to essentially, hopefully, stay. So it's this big ice cap, and the Paxman particular system, the cap is connected to a system that is running very, very cold water through the system. So with the Paxman, once you put the cap on, you don't have to do anything else. Where some of the other systems, you might be interchanging either dry ice or ice packs, etc. I loved the Paxman. I loved the fact that we didn't have to do some of those changes because it's a lot of work in itself, and that just adds another layer of work to it. And I would say I lost about 15% of my hair, but it really wasn't noticeable to most people. I have really long, thick, dark hair. I'm of Greek heritage, so I joked that my Greek blood was finally paying off, right? This is my chemo hair, we call it in my family, and my kids look at how long mom's chemo hair is getting, right? And so it's really the hair that I've lost that's coming back. So I did have really great success with it. The thing to know about cold capping is not everybody has access to it. It is a financial burden. Most insurances do not cover it. And also, even if there's access and financial ability, it might not be successful for someone. So, and so cold capping has its own unique set of mental health that comes with it. And I will just share that I feel so grateful to have the opportunity and the access, and I'm so grateful for that. But one thing that I wish could have been a little bit different is to been able to talk to somebody that had cold capped prior to me doing it, because for me, the purpose of cold capping was to try to save my hair so that I would look like mom to my kids. I didn't feel sick, so I didn't want to look sick. And I think for me, the cold capping experience, again, was great, but there were times where, because the outside reflection did not match how I was feeling on the inside, that was really hard, right? You essentially look the same, right? So people's expectations of you are the same, right? And so even though you didn't want to have to go to the coffee shop and, look like a cancer patient, well, now you're in this weird situation that you're like, I don't look like a cancer patient, and therefore I have all these different feelings about it. So it's very unique. And so anybody that might be interested in cold capping and so forth, again, I think it's awesome, but I do think about some of those things is that for me, if I had just been more aware of that expectation, it probably would have been, I would have experienced it better. But I wasn't anticipating that. And I still lost my eyebrows and eyelashes. So that was a unique experience too, right? Because I have a full head of hair, but no eyebrows and eyelashes. So, how long you would have it on for depends on your treatment protocol. So, generally speaking, you're going to have it on during the duration of the chemotherapy. And then there's a protocol of having it on before. So usually I think from what I understand, most protocols are having it on 30 minutes prior to getting the immunotherapy or the chemotherapy. And then you would have it on, well, I wore it for an hour after the chemotherapy infusion stopped. Some people might have to wear it for an hour and a half. And that again specifically was with the Paxman, and I think some of the other systems might be different. Some other systems might require longer of the cold cap. So for me personally, it was 30 minutes before chemo, during chemo, and then 16 minutes after chemo. And in terms of what it felt like, it was cold, definitely. But I was also icing my fingers and toes to help prevent peripheral neuropathy. And I thought that was worse than the head, to be honest. Like I once the cap was on, once it was going, you kind of, I guess because I had the icing of the other things going on, maybe I don't know fully what this felt like, but I thought my fingers were the worst. So if you have recently been diagnosed with cancer, my first recommendation would be to take it one step at a time. It's incredibly overwhelming. It's scary. The unknowns are just awful. But I think one thing that really was a turning point for me was when I stopped focusing on the things that cancer was taking from me, right? We could all go on and on about what cancer takes from somebody, right? The loss of their breasts, right? Time away from their kids, right? All of that. But when I was able to focus on things that it was showing me instead, right? And things to learn from, that's when I really had like a mental shift in my journey. Trying to focus on where your mindset is can be really powerful,